to get started and introduce you guys all to James Landry. So, James, how did you get started in music?
I started in music after graduating law school. I wanted to be a sports entertainment agent. And so what I did was I went back to New Hampshire and I found some kids I went to undergrad with who started a band and became rather big because they made the song Saturdays Are for the Boys. And Barstool Sports posted it and they gained a lot of traction and kind of blew up because of that. So I was relatively friends with them. I wasn't close, but I knew of them. And I went back, took them out to dinner. I was like, we need to treat your music like a business because you now have the leverage and the ability to make money from it. And after presenting some options to them, I signed them and they were my first client in music. Yeah. So the biggest thing I helped them with was understanding that they were operating a business. Musicians operate businesses because they're trying to make money with their music if they're putting it out there. And when you're making money, you're running a business. So running a business gives you ability to form an LLC and gets you a bunch of tax breaks, as well as you can protect yourself and your personal belongings away from your artist belongings. So when you're buying beats or traveling to a show or studio time, that's all stuff you can write off on taxes if you have a good CPA. They're able to set you up and make some money back and save you money. So I helped them with the LLC, form the foundation, learn about marketing, taught them a lot about marketing because as a business, you're going to market, you're trying to sell a product. And they weren't doing that necessarily. They were just releasing music and people liked it and it was cool. But once they saw that Barstool marketed their music and it worked, they realized they were missing out on a huge alley for revenue. So I helped them with that foundation, begin the marketing, get the correct contracts to protect themselves and set them up to be someone who's a label's attracted to someone. If you have the proper business foundation, a label's more likely to be happy to go into business with you because there's no secrets. They're not sure if you're going to get sued for a beat or stealing a verse or not paying a producer because you're starting the foundation correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I really helped them with at the beginning. And then it grew from there.
So would you say that the challenges that a lot of artists are facing are the marketing and the rights aspect of their music?
I'd say the biggest challenge for artists is to realize that if they give up a percentage of their income, a percentage of their streams to someone that isn't helping their business every day grow, they're never going to get that percentage back. And it's going to hamper their ability to get a record deal or to make money off of their streaming. This goes marketing, distribution, managers, attorneys, everyone wants a percentage. And if everyone can get a percentage and you ever make it big, that artist will never be able to make any money off of their streaming because they've given everything away. So I think first understanding, don't give away everything. If you can help it, you're better off paying a flat fee. Just because in the long run, that will save you hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially. You need some leverage when you go into these deals, and people don't usually have leverage going to an attorney or going to a record label. Usually they're just hoping for help, and that's when they get advantage taken of them.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit about like what you're doing because of these challenges that you've been seeing. So tell us a little bit about De Novo Agency, which you founded, and what you guys are doing that is a little bit different than what some other people are doing in the industry.
Yeah, so I'll start with De Novo Agency that was founded in 2017. It initially was founded as a entertainment agency. And what we ended up doing, Elliot was part of the band that made Saturdays for the Boys. And I hired him away. He was working for Liberty Mutual. He was doing analytics for them.
Wow.
And I took him away and I was like, I need someone to do data for me because everything is data driven now. Artists don't have the ability to do data driven marketing if they don't know what it means. That's what labels are doing. That's what everyone's doing. So what we did was we opened up everything we had for partnerships to everyone for a flat rate. And we talk to our clients every month to talk about the data and figure out what they should be doing next in terms of releasing music, promoting a certain song, what song has a good retention rate, what song can you move on from. Because artists may think a song is great, but if the audience doesn't, it doesn't matter. So de novo agency's biggest thing is doing all of this without taking a percentage, because every label would take a percentage to do all of this stuff. Any manager would take a percentage. And we don't think you should be giving up that percentage. Obviously, we think that if someone's willing to do it flat rate, you should let them.
Mhm.
Um, and as an artist, you should take as many hats as you can and do them all yourself until you can't. And marketing is one of those things that a lot of people just can't do themselves.
So just to give the listeners a little bit more insight, you pretty much do all of the promotion whenever an artist released music. And a lot of that is finding the audience that the music will resonate with through different data sources, and then also organically fitting it into a Spotify playlist.
So our goal is to find that target audience for you and get to Spotify to learn who you are. Um, when you put a song in a playlist, you get some data based on who's listening to that song. But what you get is you find people who like the song. Spotify knows the people that will be fans of your music. So when Spotify learns who you are and finds patterns in that data, they'll start to promote your music in Discover Weekly. And they'll promote it to people that they know will be a fan of that song. That's what we want. We will target a wide range of people, hoping to find some people. Maybe someone loves your song, they'll become a fan of you. But really, what we're trying to do is feed Spotify data and let them learn who likes your music. So when they start promoting it, you'll see that organic growth through Discover Weekly and these customized playlists. The issue right now with the playlist industry is people are paying for either fake playlists or they're paying with the expectations that they'll be on Spotify main editorial playlist, like Grab Caviar or Today's Hit Music. It doesn't work that way. Until Spotify finds data and patterns and knows that listeners like your music, they won't promote
Mhm.
you because they don't care about the musician. They care about the people paying them. And the people paying them
Mhm.
are the listeners. So they want to keep the listeners happy. And they'll only put your music in front of those listeners when they know it'll make those listeners happy. Once we get that data and once Spotify starts promoting you, that's when we help you craft a plan. Maybe it's Instagram ads, maybe it's Facebook ads, maybe it's a lyric video. There's a bunch of ways to go about it. We want to craft a plan in terms of right now with COVID advertisements because we can't go
Mhm.
do shows. But once you're
Mhm.
able to do shows, we want to be able to craft a plan that will allow you to go to a venue and say, hey, venue, I have 4,000 fans in this city, Cincinnati, Ohio. I bet you I can get 10% of them, 400 of them, to come to this show tonight. You should let me play. That will work better than going to a venue and saying, hey, listen to my song. Isn't it great? The venue may think the song's great, but if you're not selling tickets, they're not making money. So we want you to have that data and be prepared to go to a venue and say, let me play here. I can make you money.
Wow. No, that is such a unique approach to it. And the data doesn't lie. So it's not like a subjective thing as understanding if a song's good enough for their, fans that go to that venue. So that's really interesting to hear. How have you been seeing the landscape changing?
So we know streaming is what's going on right now. I think the
Hmm.
biggest change we have had is coronavirus and
Hmm.
COVID. Streaming's gone down, but it's not gone. Streaming is still how people consume music. Records are going away. CDs are definitely gone. Vinyls were kind of coming back, but they're not. They're more decoration than they
Right.
are people listening to them. So what I've seen is streaming is going down right now because of COVID. This seems to be the new normal. I think commuting is going away. There's going to be a lot of people who work from home now
Right.
forever. Um, and that means they're not listening to music on their drive to work and back, and they're not listening to music at the gym right now. So they're not consuming too much music that they get sick of what they're listening to. So they're not actively looking for new music.
Hmm.
Knowing this, we also have seen patterns that show people are not consuming YouTube videos, music videos the same way because they're not looking for entertainment that way. They're not looking to listen to music that way. They want content, they want to be engaged.
Hmm.
So I've seen a big influx of people wanting to watch behind the scenes type videos, like get to know the artist type videos, connect with the fans on a personal level. Instagram live videos have done amazing things for artists. If you can get on with another artist and try to split fan bases, their numbers are showing that it's working because people want to be entertained. So the direct tie-in with Songflower really comes down to, we have people coming up to us every day and asking what distribution platform should they use. And I've never been comfortable giving an answer, because right now there's options. You can pay every year, you can pay upfront and a percentage of your royalties, or you can just give up a percentage. People think these are great. Like, oh, $20 a year is nothing. But if you think about that, that's $20 a year forever. So you may be done music, you can have a family, you still want your music up there because you're making money off of it, but you're still paying $20 a year. So at some point, it's not going to be worth the $20, because if you're only making $19 a year, it's not worth paying $20. And then on the other end of it, royalties is, if your song takes off and you're giving away 15% of all streaming, it's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars to have that song up. And forever, if that song takes off, you might pay out $250,000 just to distribute a song, when all distribution platforms do the same thing. They all pay once, they get your music on, but they will take your music off if you don't pay them again. And so what we did, or what I wanted to do and strive to do, was to set up a system that you pay once and your music goes up forever. The first thing I want to get to know about an artist is to know, what have they been doing and what do they ultimately want? Because if an artist is driven by, I want a record deal and I want it tomorrow, they're not going to be a fit for me, because I need to know that they're investing in themselves. There's a lot of artists, just like I said, they ask you to listen to their song. They're just going to ask for help and beg for help and say, I don't want to pay. You should do it for free. I'm the next big thing. And my response is always, show me. Tell me how you are. Show to me anyone likes your music. And people can't. So what I'm really looking for is, when I talk to an artist, I want to know what they've been doing. Have they been spending the money to record in a studio, or at least invest in a studio? Mix and mastering is very important. And $100 can go a long way in getting the correct master. And I want to know, what is their ultimate goal? It can be signed to a record label, but I want to know if they've thought about it. Signing to a record label, do you know that gives away your creative control sometimes? Do you know that you're going to get paid up front, but you may not ever get paid again? Do you realize that 98% of people signed to record labels don't make more than $30,000 a year? There's a lot out there that I want to just kind of give the artist information and see how they react, and see if that changes their mind in terms of what their ultimate goal is.
I'm very interested to hear your perspective on the new media that's out there. Obviously, with the the evolution of all these different social media platforms and streaming services. So how do you think platforms like Instagram or TikTok, will affect the way artists promote their music? TikTok in particular, because that one's so interesting to me.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with it too. So I have issues with it. I have reservations, I should say. It's not as much an issue, but I have reservations of it. A lot of people think going viral will make them have a hit song and be all over the radio. Like, my song on TikTok is amazing. I went viral. Look at the average user of TikTok. Look at their age. And then tell me, have you ever heard a song that went viral on TikTok on the radio? I couldn't tell you any song that's been viral on TikTok, because that's not what they're known for. So I always ask an artist, are you trying to be known Instagram famous or TikTok famous, or do you want to be known for your music? And most artists are going to say music. So change your marketing. Let TikTok and let Instagram be part of the recipe, but it's not the main ingredient. You're much better off having 10,000 monthly listeners on Spotify than you are 10,000 Instagram followers, because one of those pays you. So I like to think of a music video as a way to lengthen the life of a song. So a song is good when someone hears it for about 2 to 3 weeks. After that, it just becomes something in the past or something they hear on their saved library. So my favorite example of this is DaBaby. DaBaby released 2 albums ago now. Seems like yesterday, really. He released an album. He started with the song Intro. He went to Bop. He went to Vibes. And then he went back to Bop about 5.5 weeks later with a music video. So he made Bop last about 10 weeks total because he got the Jabberwockies in it. He got everyone in it. People loved the music video. They started listening to the song again. So it charted again. That's the use of a music video, is to get people reinterested and lengthen the amount of time until you have to release another song.
Like, what are the main like income streams that these independent artists rely on?
Yeah. So the top two income streams for independent artists are shows and merchandise. They always are. That's even for record labels. They make their money off of shows and merchandise. Streaming, you'll never make as much money back as you invest. If it's legit streaming, you'll never get that. There'll never be a service that you can pay $30 and you'll make 35. It's not,
Wow.
it can't happen. It's just not possible. If it's happening, it's fake. So merchandise, merchandise. But you can't sell merchandise unless you have fans. And if you have merchandise, you have to advertise that merchandise to fans. So it all goes back to streaming because you need the streaming data to get the shows and to sell the merchandise to the people who go to your shows. But it's really, be prepared. Don't just go to a show with nothing. At least have something. Have a pre-order form, have something. Drum up a sweatshirt with the logo. That's enough. Just to be able to sell merchandise, because it will cost you, if you do in bulk, you can get sweatshirts like $16, sell them for 40. That's a good chunk of change. That's more money than you're gonna make off of streaming if you're advertising to get streams.
How does the streaming ecosystem work? And also how does that, like, what is the payout process?
Yeah, so it depends on your distributor. Usually you're paid about 3 to 4 months after the stream occurs. You only get paid for someone who listens to your song for more than 30 seconds, and each platform pays a different amount. Spotify pays a fourth of a penny. Apple Music pays a sixth of a penny, I think, right now. And over the next 3 years, it's going to slowly increase to like 1.1 pennies because the government has mandated it. And that's per stream. Now, that's not a lot of money. That means right now, if you have 100,000 streams on Spotify, I think you get paid about $600. I think the math comes out to. So it's not a
Wow.
lot of money.
Yeah.
You need millions of streams to make any money. Record labels don't make money off streaming because it costs more money to get that 100,000 than it does payout. That's where Spotify makes their money. Spotify's making a lot of money off musicians. But at this point, you need to do streaming because if you don't have streaming, you're not going to be found.
What are some other sources that you would recommend that you have either read or listened to throughout your journey for these artists and aspiring professionals to take a look at?
Yeah. So outside of those clips in the podcast, something else we also do is we go live every Wednesday night on Facebook, YouTube, and sometimes Instagram. We change it up. We record those all. Those become our podcast, but we answer specific questions that are asked to us. Outside of us specifically talking to you, we've released ebooks on this topics, just kind of giving an overview of your music business. I always recommend people buy Donald Passman's book, All You Need to Know About the Music Business. It's on Amazon. That's like $30. I think he just came out with a new version. I think every artist should have that book. If they don't have it, they're not a real artist yet, because that's going to give you everything. That's going to go into more detail than you want to know. It's going to go into detail that your attorney should know, and you'll know if you have a good attorney by if they know of the book and if they can answer some of the questions that you can come up with from that book.
What do you see as like the next big thing to happen?
I think the biggest thing we're going to see happen in the music industry is sync fees are going to drop dramatically. People aren't going to be able to charge as much money to get their music on a TV or commercial. Commercials are going to have to, these commercials are going away. And on top of that, people aren't commuting. So I probably the biggest thing ever that's going to happen is radio stations are going to start to go under. iHeartRadio is going to sell off. There's going to be a lot of big stations that are selling their smaller stations. And we're going to see a big uptick in local stations form again. We're going to get that underground radio stations back. Each city is going to have their own type radio station. And it's going to allow for independent artists to be back on the radio. My biggest piece of advice for all artists is music is still new to those who haven't heard it before. So if you release a song in 2017 and no one listened to it, do not go investing in releasing new music until you find out who likes the other song. You can market old music, but you have to get the fan base before you can do that model. People always want to be consistent and release a new song every week, but you can't release a new song every week to no one because it's never going to do anything.
So thank you so much again, James. It was such a pleasure to have you on this episode, The Setup.
Thank you for having me.